Welcome to Dr. CM Edcast, your go-to resource for medical learning. Through discussions, case studies, tutorials, and debates, we help you learn, grow, serve.
Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most incredible systems in the human body, the respiratory system. I mean, this thing is just a masterpiece of biological engineering, and it works tirelessly every single moment of our lives. So, we're going to explore exactly how it all works.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. From the moment air enters your body to the point where it fuels your cells, it takes this incredible journey. We take thousands of these breaths every day, right? And we barely ever think about it. Well, today, we're going to change that. We're going to follow that journey step by step.
So where does this all start? Well, maybe not where you'd think. The journey doesn't actually begin in the lungs themselves, but way up in the upper passages. This is the first line of defense, a super important stage that gets the air ready before it reaches the really delicate tissues deep inside our chest.
Okay, so let's follow the air. It comes in through the nasal cavity, then travels down through the pharynx, past the larynx, and into the trachea, what we all call the windpipe. But you gotta understand, this path is way more than just a simple tube. It's a really sophisticated entryway.
And this is what's so cool. Your nasal cavity basically acts like a high-tech air conditioner. Before that air gets anywhere near your lungs, your nose warms it up, makes sure it's completely moisturized, and filters out all the bigger stuff like dust and pollen. It's this amazing built-in purification system.
All right, so once the air is perfectly conditioned, it keeps on moving down. Now we go from that one main airway into this vast, branching network that spreads all through the lungs. It's so intricate that it's often called the tracheobronchial tree.
You can see here how the trachea splits into the right and left main bronchi. And from there, they just keep dividing and branching out, getting smaller and smaller. It looks almost exactly like the branches of a tree, reaching deep into the lung tissue.
And get this, the scale of this whole thing is just astounding. From that main windpipe all the way down to the tiniest little air sacs, the airways divide a total of 23 times. That creates this enormous, complex network for distributing air everywhere it needs to go.
Now here's a really crucial point. This tree has two totally distinct zones. The first 16 generations, they make up what's called the conducting zone. You can think of this part as the highway system. It's just for moving air, that's it. But the final generations, from 17 down to 23, that's the respiratory zone. And this is where the magic happens. This is where gas can actually be exchanged with your blood.
So we finally arrived. This is the final destination for every breath we take. Right here at the microscopic ends of that bronchial tree, we find the structures that are responsible for the very act of respiration, the alveoli.
Just take that number in for a moment. 300 million. Your two lungs have about 300 million of these tiny balloon-like air sacs. It's this unbelievable quantity that makes the whole gas transfer process so incredibly efficient.
And all those millions of tiny sacs, they add up big time. If you could somehow flatten out the surface of all your alveoli, it would cover about 70 square meters. To put that in perspective, that's roughly the size of a singles tennis court, all packed neatly inside your chest.
Now, if we zoom in to the cellular level, you can see that each single alveolus is wrapped in this dense web of tiny blood vessels, the capillaries. The walls here are incredibly thin, and that's the key, because it allows oxygen to just slip right from the air into the blood, and for carbon dioxide to pass from the blood back into the air, ready to be exhaled.
So the alveolar wall itself is mainly made of two types of cells. The type 1 cells are really flat and thin, they form the structure and provide that huge surface for gas exchange. But the type 2 cells are just as vital. They secrete this substance called surfactant. It basically acts like a detergent to keep these tiny little sacs from collapsing on themselves every time you breathe out. But it's not just about swapping gases down there. Oh no, the alveoli also have their own little security team. You've got macrophages that patrol the surfaces, just gobbling up any fine dust or bacteria that manage to get that far. Then you have plasma cells providing antibodies, and mast cells ready to go for any allergic responses. It's a really robust, active defense system.
You know, you might think breathing is all the lungs do, right? Well, think again. It turns out our lungs perform a surprising number of other vital, non-respiratory jobs that are absolutely essential for our overall health.
Remember that highway system, the conducting zone? Well, it has this remarkable self-cleaning feature called the ciliary escalator. It's amazing. There are millions of these tiny little hairs called cilia,
and they all beat together in this coordinated upward wave. They're constantly moving a layer of mucus and any junk that gets trapped in it, up and out of the lung.
And this is exactly why protecting this system is so critical. Because things like cigarette smoke can literally paralyze these delicate cilia. When that happens, the whole cleaning mechanism just shuts down, leaving the lungs wide open to infection and damage.
The blood flowing through the lungs is doing more than just picking up oxygen, too. The pulmonary circulation system acts as a blood reservoir, it acts as a filter to get rid of small clots, it's a key pathway for absorbing certain drugs, and get this, it even acts as a metabolic organ, changing and deactivating all sorts of hormones and other substances as they pass through. It is a true multitasker.
So, when you put it all together, from conditioning and filtering the air, to moving it through a massive branching network, to exchanging gases across a surface the size of a tennis court, and performing countless other hidden jobs, the respiratory system is just a true marvel of efficiency.
And it just works, silently, automatically, sustaining you with every single breath you take. It just makes you wonder, doesn't it? As this whole intricate world is carrying on inside your chest, what other profound, complex biological systems are hard at work inside you, right now, completely beyond your awareness?